Okay, I think I'm going live. I hope I am. Let me check and see. I'm 20 minutes early. If anybody's watching, hey, I'm gonna make it worth your while. But anyway, let me make sure. Let's see. I don't know. Am I live? Holy shit! Wait. If I am live, I hope nobody's watching. I'm trying to figure out which fucking camera to use. Why am I not getting the whole fucking picture? Okay, so I guess I'm live. The internet can totally see you now. To stop, use your encoder. And I'm trying to see how the fuck is this? Oh my god, I don't want this to be like a top left corner thing. All right. Well, for anybody who is thinking of being, look, at 9 o'clock, fuck it. If this is in the corner like this, it's going to go down like that. No, I know. We're going live, Scully. Oil? Yeah. I mean, right now, this is not really live, but we're going to go like a little. All right, just relax. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can figure this out. Boy, how difficult can this shit be? Okay, 4 people are watching. Okay, now fuck it. I've got to make it worth people's time. First of all, thank you for being here. And I'm trying to see how to run this thing. Hello chats, hello Nacho. Am I the only one here? I hope you are. And let me know how this sounds. Let me know if you can hear me at least. All right. Sorry for the upper left screen. How do I make this whole? Yep, I can hear you. Captain Coldpile. Yeah, you're up and running. You know what? Fuck it, man. I've got out, dude. Here it is. This is live, and that's how it's going down. And if you guys can just let me know, this is the first time I do a live stream. And if you guys want to be letting me know that I suck, or that, you know, I'm sorry that I have it on just the upper left corner, but I'm going to try to make the most of this. Welcome to Deedles. Scully, now for sure we're doing this. Legal? Yes, yeah, we're doing this, dude. Okay, so fuck this shit. Legal. You don't have to talk, dude. Don't worry about it, man. Let me take care of this. Anyway, here's to everybody, and just take the edge off. By the way, I'm having so much technical difficulties that the lights might actually go out. There's a storm going on here in my neighborhood, and the lights have already gone out. So, Captain Cole, yeah, fuck it. You're right, dude. Fuck this shit. Look, I actually wanted to talk about the Manchester attack, and yeah, I feel compelled to say, first and foremost, my sincerest sympathies with the family and friends of the victims. I definitely mean that. And I know I've already heard other people talking about, oh, can you at least wait until, give it a week or so? And man, we need to talk about this shit. At the very least, how do we avoid any more of these? And I refuse to believe that whole bullshit from fucking Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, that we need to learn how to live with this shit. Go fuck yourself. No, we don't. And by the way, for anyone who is not family and friends of the victims, and you have a problem with anybody talking about this, go fuck yourself. Okay? This needs to be addressed. This needs to end, for that matter. And let me relax. So are traps gay, and are you a favor of Necco Waffles? What? It's cool. Yeah, you're up and running. Look, fuck it. Don't worry. The religion of peace had nothing to do with the extremists. Of course not. Of course not. Look, man, if I could wave a magic wand, I would first say that I wish everybody could just be considerate. You don't even have to be nice. Just considerate. Don't be a fucking asshole with other people. Don't murder. I would think that would be the least that you would fucking have to say. Don't steal. Don't insult. Don't go around. Well, I insult quite a bit, but I only insult people who go around insulting other people. And if it ever seems like I'm attacking people in my videos, I'm attacking people who are pushing false narratives and toxic ideas. And how's it going, everyone? Robert Bauman. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. And if anybody's got any ideas of anything else you'd like to talk about, look, I want to keep this kind of uplifting, even though it's going to be about death and destruction and depression. Because something else I would like to talk about is Chris Cornell's suicide. But I'll leave that one for a little later. But right now, back to, I don't even want to say back to Manchester, back to radical Islamic terrorism. And how the fuck do we end this shit? And there's got to be. I mean, I know this is not going to end overnight, but words and sentiments like, oh, we just, we need to just carry on as usual. Fuck no. I'm actually seriously considering looking for a job, at the very least part-time, at some counter-terrorism intelligence agency or something. Of course, if they do a background check on me, they see that I do this shit on the side, they're like, no thanks. But I'll sweep floors there. I'll fucking make coffee. I want to be proactively part of the solution to this. And I would think that part of the solution is, well, that's the other thing. If I could wave that magic wand, if I had 3 fucking wishes, and they couldn't just be for me, if I couldn't just, if I had 3 wishes, dude, I'd be fucking rich. That'd be the first one, but let's forget that shit. The other one, like I said, number 1, first wish, outside of myself, that everybody were considerate. Second wish, that everyone were finally atheist. Okay? Third wish, that everyone understood basic economics. Actually, I wonder if that should be the second one. We would avoid so many fucking problems in this world if people were just plain and simply considerate. You don't have to be nice. If everyone, that might be the second one. If everyone understood basic economics. And lastly, if everyone were finally atheist and they finally realized this is all bullshit. Don't forget the white privilege. Of course. Billy Bond. Let me see. I just saw counterterrorism cops today. I was going to ask if I could do anything. LOL. Be very curious to see what answer they gave you. It's because the white male is oppressing the religion of peace. Of course. Anyway, trying to see how to do. Anyway. Like I said, I promised Billy Bong that I was going to invite him in. I'm hoping this is the link. Feel free to jump in. And so yeah, now I'm looking here at the live chat comments, trying to see, does anybody else have any solutions? Because I'd rather talk about solutions rather than outrage. I mean, yeah, and I think people are almost numb to this now. Seriously, I think people are already like, ugh. Yeah, of course, no, they would interrogate you. And then that's the other thing, like, if you actually want to join and be part of this, yeah, or be part of the solution, help out, of course, then you get that little bit of fight back from police and from the government, because of course they're almost all unionized, you know. But let me not start talking too much out of my ass. People need to start turning in their terrorist neighbors and friends. Yeah, look, no way, no one didn't know this guy was about to go off. Yeah, and reform to the Quran. Really. And so, of all the videos that I've been watching, one of the best ones that I saw was Paul Joseph Watson's, because he was actually making some really good points about things that we could do. Number one, pretty much surveillance of hate preaching mosques. Yeah. I don't know if there's any mosques in my neighborhood. And here's the other thing, man. I know some Muslim friends and coworkers. I hope nobody takes this the wrong way. But I've lived in my neighborhood, for example, for almost 40 years now, and never have I seen anyone wearing a hijab. And now I have. Okay, I've never heard people speaking Arabic in my neighborhood. Now I have. Okay, and it's fine. It's fine. Hey, look, there was a time that we Cubans, like my parents and my family, we were seen as a threat back in the late 70s, early 80s. Oh, and especially with the Cocaine Cowboys, if anybody hasn't watched that documentary. And people were getting shot up. I remember the Dayland Mall fucking shoot-ups and stuff that happened over there. I actually knew a girl in school who her brother, I remember hearing that faint name, the Cocaine Cowboys, back then, and being spoken about with this girl who went to my school, which obviously I'm not going to mention her name. I remember, like, in second grade, whenever we would go pick her up at her house, she lived in a pretty nice fucking house. It was a very nice house that this girl lived in. And she went to another private school, I guess a more expensive one. Lo and behold, 7th grade rolls around. Sadly enough, her brother had gotten killed. Okay, and I'm assuming the brother was the breadwinner. And since this girl had a crush on me, I kind of always remembered, you know, her house and stuff like that. She was a nice girl, a little chubby. So I was always like, why do you like me? You know, but come 7th grade, when we go to pick her up, now she's living in like some little fucking apartment. And that was the effects of drug dealing back then in Miami. And so I know, like, I don't want to insult any Muslim immigrants or anything like that. But now that I see people wearing hijabs in my neighborhood, which I've never seen before, I'm a little concerned. Okay, I mean, sorry, it's got to be said, man. It's got to be said, you know. And so, I don't know. Do I need to start looking around and plotting on a map which are the nearby mosques? You know, is there... Islam needs an enlightenment if it wants to survive. Oh, you know what it needs? It needs to just fucking fizzle out like a bad fart, really. And every other single religion, they're all false. And that's the saddest part about it, that people just blindly follow this. And I like to think I understand why, because of evolution. We're social creatures. And we've evolved to be part of some tribe. That's how you survive. So you get your food, shelter, your clothing, and all that. And to think outside that tribe is pretty scary. That's why I think most people who are religious, it is more out of fear than it is out of faith. I'm pretty sure. And it's not even fear of hell or eternal damnation. I think it's fear of being ostracized from your group, namely your family, and then your community. So, the problem is a dumpster fire, and no one will do a fucking thing about it, because it would mean admitting certain things that would go against the political agenda. Oh, yeah, no, for sure. It's heading for another crusade. There was a really good interview on Dave Rubin's channel with Brigitte, Gabrielle Brigitte. This is the first time I heard about him. Let me look this up really quick. It's bad enough that I've got just the little screen right now, so I'm sorry I can't share. I have no idea how to share anything that I'm looking at over here. Brigitte Gabriel. And the interview was The Muslim Brotherhood Explained. If you don't want to see the entire interview, because that's really cool about Dave Rubin, by the way. He breaks up, he has the entire hour-long interview, but then he breaks them up into like 20-minute segments. That was a really great interview because it talked about how back in the 60s and the 70s, it looks like Islam was reforming. There was a reformation going on. There were women that were walking around countries like Egypt and Iran, and they didn't have to wear hijabs, let alone a burqa. Things were going into modernity, okay? Just like with China. I guess after Nixon went to go visit this fucking piece of shit Mao Zedong. Look, let me not get sidetracked, but if anybody wants to remind me later on, it's not always religion. Because look at China under Mao Zedong. That wasn't about religion. It was about a political ideology that functioned like a religion. And for anyone who wants to blame atheism, no, that's not atheism either. It's just this blind mass herd groupthink of people that just, and it's sad because I think a lot of people are incapable of thinking for themselves, quite frankly. But anyway, that was a really good interview. By the way, sorry if I'm all over the place. But this is my first time doing a live stream, so what the fuck. Yes, that Muslim Brotherhood Explained by Brigitte Gabriel. She gets into some of the dynamics that went on and some of the power players that, I guess you could use the term power player, why not? Like the Ayatollah Khomeini. Right now they've got the Khomeini, when that guy fucking took power. And of course, and then under him, you ended up getting the persecution of Salman Rushdie and the Satanic Verses, which I actually have the book. I'd love to fucking show it, but I don't want to run off right now and go get it. Plus, I don't need a fucking fatwa on my head either. And by the way, and I'm not just saying this in deference or respect to people who hate that book. I've tried reading it. It is a really hard read. It's great writer, but it's, and I'm not that much into fiction. I prefer nonfiction, which is why Christopher Hitchens, one of my favorite writers. Anyway, let me come back to the comments and see if anybody's telling me that I'm full of shit. Ideological dogma, yeah, fuck it. Good, and I'm glad right now it's a small little group. Only 12 people watching, supposedly. The Britisher had some good points in his video. Yes, he did. I liked his video. The Britisher's video that he did on Manchester, and where he was talking about Tony Blair and how Tony Blair was insisting on faith schools because Tony Blair's Catholic. I grew up Catholic too, so I have every right to shit on that fucking religion, okay? Which is why I'm an atheist. See? Oh. You have to bring out the candle. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I like it like this. Yeah. Telling ghost stories. With all due that. Look, I don't even want to go. Fuck it. It's going to be going on and off. This is a fucking nightmare today. The point is, are there any solutions? Okay. Like I said, the first one, maybe, look, practical solutions. First thing is know your mosques. Sorry. Just like that song from Sesame Street. These are the people in your neighborhood. Well, these are the mosques in your neighborhood. Oh. Dude, I'm going to go searching for that. Second thing, I'm going to contact the Counter-Terrorism Intelligence Agency Department here in Florida. There is one in Florida. I looked at the website the other day. And fuck it. I'm going to see if I apply. Why not? Am I on Google Hangouts or BS? I don't know. Those special effects, though. Check your DM. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. Wait, hold on a second. Google Hangouts. I have no idea. Let me see. Shit. The last thing I want to do is sign out on this. Let me see. Google Hangouts. Sorry, I want to keep this going. Anyway, like I was saying, solution number 2. These are the mosques in your neighborhood. in your neighborhood. Google Hangouts. Jeez, where's okay Hangouts? Here we go. Let me see if I'm getting. Let me see how this works. Oh. Dude, I really need to learn how to do these things. I thought this wasn't going to be so fucking complicated, to tell you the truth. Let me see if I can message somebody. Okay, Billy Bong, I'm sending you a message through Google Hangouts. And trying to keep this interesting for I'll teach you next time. Talking roll. This guy, God, I forgot your name, but I really love your videos. The talking work guy. Hold on a second. I got you here. I would love to have you on as well. Let me see. Dude, look, I'm sorry, man. Let me keep this going, I guess. Wish there was a way. This is still live. Hey, look, let me just keep this going, man. Solutions: fundamentally, the folk who commit terrorism are ordinary members of the religion with troubled personal characteristics. So yeah, no. Yes, for sure. I mean, and of course, I guess that needlessly goes without saying. Especially with this last guy. Let me see, because I had written down his fucking name. What's this fucking douchebag's fucking name? Salman Abedi. I would love to know, what was it, dude? Was he a borderline personality disorder? Was he bipolar? ADHD? God knows what he had. God knows what I have fucking doing this type of shit. But thank you, Captain Colpile. It's all good. Look, in order to just keep this going, man, I'm sorry I can't invite anybody on. The next time I do this, I'm gonna get my shit together first. And but for anybody who still wants to be on, obviously I'm communicating with you guys on this. Hey, Hellbound Heathen, what up? I wish I knew how to control this. I would have invited you on, but anyway, I can't deal with live streams too glitchy. Yeah, I guess they are. Put it in the chat. Actually, let him get it there. I think they hear what he has to say. Yeah, I just wish I knew it, because I thought that I had the link down here, but apparently I don't. It says share, but it's not fucking working. So anyway, but look, let me get back to the solutions. I'm all over the place. At least that much I did have prepared. You know, the solutions of getting to know the mosques in your neighborhood. The surveillance of the hate-preaching mosques, which, by the way, I'm sure most people have already seen. If anybody hasn't seen the Louis Farrakhan video that was actually here in Miami in 2015, where he's almost inciting, he's calling almost for a genocide. Actually, I think I could fucking play that in the background, and you guys can hear this. It's fucking insane. If that kind of shit is, and that was going on in a church, that wasn't even a mosque. It was, if I'm not mistaken, some Christian church. That's the kind of shit we need to start reporting. And of course, nobody wants to call out Louis Farrakhan because whatever, it will be politically incorrect. Now fucking somebody like, I don't know, any white televangelist comes out and says some shit like that, oh, for sure. License taken away. Ted Haggard. Whoa, Ted Haggard fucking with crystal meth and gay hookers, dude. Oh my God, that was... Look, I'm not into Schadenfreude or Schadenfreude, however you pronounce that, gloating in other people's misery and downfall. But man, that guy deserved it. By any chance, and a great documentary on Ted Haggard by Nancy Pelosi's daughter, who's a pretty good filmmaker. Nancy Pelosi, I don't hate her either, but anyway. But you get somebody like that, oh, they'll call that motherfucker out, no problem. Louis Farrakhan. So I'm gonna get this. Let me get this done. Farrakhan. Speech of hate. It was in Overtown, Miami. Oh, anyway, let me see if it's this one. And these are the things that we need to report, man. And that's the thing. Growing up with a movie like Goodfellas being my favorite. Oops, hold on a second. Of course, I would never want to snitch on people. I would never want to do that. But I think we're going to need to start reporting some of these motherfuckers, dude. For sure. High CPU usage detected. You may experience performance issues. Oh, well. Too fucking bad. Hold on a second. You know what? I'm going to get it from one of my own videos. Nachi free. Race war. Because that's what that video was on. Stop calling for a race war. And I've got it in here. So, by the way, it's Nachi free number 26. If anybody wants to check that out. Car in the background. Nothing I can do about that. Here we go. I remember getting it from Jesse Lee Peterson.
Miami at Mount Zion Baptist Church. I'm looking for 10,000 in the midst of a million. Listen. I'm looking for 10,000 in the midst of the million.
Midst of the million.
10,000 fearless men. Fearless. Who say death is sweeter than continued life under tyranny. Where's the tyranny? Death is sweeter than to continue to live and bury our children while white folks give the killer hamburgers. Death is sweeter. Retaliation is prescribed in matters of the slain. Retaliation is a prescription from God to calm the breath of those whose children have been slain. So if the federal government will not intercede in our affairs, then we must rise up and kill those who kill us. Stop them and kill them and let them feel the pain of death that we are feeling.
Obviously, he was, when he was talking about the hamburger, I have to assume that he was talking about Dylan Roof. And of course, that's horrific. It's horrific. But these are dog whistles. You know, he's calling for 10,000 men. All it takes is one fucking disturbed individual. That's all it takes. I wanted to do actually a video called Dog Whistles and how they work. And that's what you get with these imams and these clerics. And that's why we gotta, start being way more vigilant and taking a little bit more part in surveying what goes on in your neighborhoods. Because all it takes is that one lone fucking wolf to just hear that shit. And I think that's why they put that out like that. They know it. All it takes is one person to fucking wreak havoc, and it's just insane. So anyway, that was one of the solutions prescribed by Paul Joseph Watson: surveillance of hate preaching mosques. Well, another one that he had, which I think is very true: solitary confinement of individuals that might radicalize others in prison. And while you're at it, now this one's my little fucking suggestion: being extremely careful of any Muslim conversions in prison. extreme vetting of Muslim immigrants, which the temporary travel ban, immediate deportation of people with terrorist ties, of course, that goes without saying. And of course, looking out for any, and I mean any, signs of ISIS sympathizing. So I don't know, let me check and see what people are suggesting right now. They are hateful bigots. I was forced to listen to a speech of Yusuf Bey in junior college in Oakland. I don't know who that guy is. This stream is all over the map. I know it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep it together. Okay, I'm trying to come back. It was basically, more than anything, let's talk about solutions, about how can we possibly avoid another Manchester attack. And I'm sorry that it's all over the place because of the technical difficulties that I'm having. I wanted this to run a lot smoother, and it's my first one, so please, take it easy on me. But I'm hoping it's at least interesting or entertaining to people. And I'm only going to be doing this for about an hour at most. There's only so much shit I need to talk about this issue. And yeah, and I'm, well, like everybody, and I guess that's where the outrage comes. I mean, how many more of these fucking attacks do we need to endure? And they just seem to be popping up all over fucking Europe. I mean, fortunately, none of them going on here in the United States. And I hate having to hear the false equivalence with the mass shootings. Which, by the way, speaking of, it wasn't a mass shooting, but it was a shooting that happened here in my neighborhood this weekend. Not too far from where I live. Some guy went to a restaurant and shot 2 of his nieces. Dead. And, of course, people are like, now that's what you really need to worry about. Gun control. And it's just... no easy answers, but there are answers. There is a way of dealing with this. And I'm glad only 14 people are watching. Thank you for anyone who's sticking around. Feel free to jump ship too, man. I just want to practice how to do these live streams and have fun with them. The people who committed acts of violence in the name of Islam are not lone wolves, but part of a bigger issue. Yeah, and that bigger issue is the mindless following of any ideology. Newest ISIS attack is to use trucks for ramming. That's being suggested and proposed from their literature. Yeah. Gun control is the reason they opt for that. By the way, speaking of their literature, there was another great video by Sam Harris where he was talking about what ISIS really wants. And I think you don't even have to go to his channel to look for that. I think if you just type in Sam Harris, what ISIS really wants. And he actually was reading from one of their magazines, and he was talking about how well edited and formatted their literature was. And in it, he was talking about a woman who I believe was from, I think she might have been from Sweden. She was from Europe, a European woman who married a Muslim, and she went to Iraq for ISIS. And her 4-year-old son got killed. Was killed, I think, with a truck bomb or some shit. And she had already drank the Kool-Aid so far that she saw it as a blessing, because now her son was in heaven with Allah. And by the way, heaven, that is a concept of Christians. It's not even, I believe it's not even in the Old Testament. I know hell is not in the Old Testament. That's a New Testament fabrication. And the Quran is basically a spin-off of Judaism. That's the other crazy thing. How Christianity and Christianity and Islam are like TV spin-offs of fucking Judaism. It's like the Jeffersons. The Jeffersons and Maude spun off from All in the Family. For anybody who is in their 40s and remembers watching reruns of All in the Family, the Jeffersons and Maude. And yeah, take your pick as to which one would be Islam, which one would be Christianity. But yeah, and I don't know, man. There's got to be solutions to this. Now, let me see. Let me coming back to Annan Mobius. Gun control is the reason they opt for that. However, lack of gun control in USA differentiates their strategy. pulling a Paris attack here won't fly. They acknowledge CCCW as a threat and the troubles of background checks. No, I guess so. I guess maybe our background checks are not as lax as progressives want to make them out to be. I no longer want to criticize liberals, by the way, because I'm a liberal. I'm a bona fide liberal. I'm more liberal than most of these fucking pussies out there. But progressives and the left in general, but especially progressives, I think that one's a little more specific. The left, that it's such a generic term. But I think it's safe to say that progressives, and needless to say, social justice warriors and all that, they're the ones that are pretty much, it's amazing the roadblocks that they're trying to put to fight the very things that would hold back the things that they supposedly are standing for. I saw a great tweet today, by the way. Let me see if I can pull it up here. How the left blames themselves. And this was actually put out by Anonymous. It must be incredibly frustrating as an Islamic terrorist not to have your views and motives taken seriously by the societies you terrorize, even after you have explicitly and repeatedly stated them. Even worse, those on the regressive left, in their endless capacity for masochism and self-loathing, have attempted to shift blame inwardly on themselves, denying the terrorists even the satisfaction of claiming responsibility. It's like a bad Monty Python sketch. So then they go on with the sketch. We did this because our holy texts exhort us to do it. No, you didn't. Wait, what? Yes, we did. No, this has nothing to do with your religion. You guys are just using religion as a front for social and geopolitical reasons. I've actually heard that before. What? Did you even read our official statement? We give explicit Quranic justification. This is jihad, a holy crusade against pagans, blasphemers, and disbelievers. I guess that would be me. No, this is definitely not a Muslim thing. You guys are not true Muslims, and you defame a great religion by saying so. Huh? Who are you to tell us we're not true Muslims? Islam is literally at the core of everything we do, and we have implemented the truest, most literal and honest interpretation of its founding texts. It is our very reason for being. Nope, we created you. We installed a social and economic system that alienates and disenfranchises you, and that's why you did this. We're sorry. What? Why are you apologizing? We just slaughtered you mercilessly in the streets. We targeted unwitting civilians. Disenfranchisement doesn't even enter into it. Listen, it's our fault. We don't blame you for feeling unwelcome and lashing out. Seriously, stop taking credit for this. We worked really hard to pull this off, and we're not going to let you take it away from us. No, we nourished your extremism. We accept full blame. Allah above. How many people do we have to kill around here to finally get our message across? And that's pretty much back and forth. And like I said, some of those lines, I've actually heard it from fucking people. And it's just amazing. Now, here was another point I did want to make, and this is a valid point, I think. The $110 billion arms deal that Trump just made with Saudi Arabia. Good thing, not Paul Ryan, I always confuse their names. Rand Paul, Paul Ryan, it's fucking, they all sound the same. But anyway, Rand Paul, I have respect for both of them, but especially Rand Paul. And he wants to put a vote in the Senate against that arms deal. And yeah, I mean, it's as if, dude, it's as if we're being ruled by fucking serial killing psychopaths, which to a large degree we are. But I'm going to check back in here. The truth hurt Islam is cancer. That is, for example, Gaza, poor Palestinians next to wealthy Israelis. Sanders says climate change is the cause. Yeah, and Jimmy Dore, of course, agrees. I'm surprised he didn't spit on his face afterwards, but whatever. Individual psychology is another. This is, as we've already seen, crazy people and mental issues. And look, who am I to criticize the mentally unstable? Look at this fucking mask. But yeah, it's something we cannot stand for anymore. And look, if there was one thing that I really wanted the few people who are watching and sticking around to get from this is we need to be more proactive, man. And I gotta follow my own advice on that. I need to volunteer time even. I'll fucking volunteer my time with police, with any agencies, and do something about this, because don't want to be seeing that shit happening here with the frequency that it's been happening in Europe. And it's almost like a given now. It's so fucking pathetic. And I guess it's par for the course of evolution. This is literally nothing new. It's a clash of civilizations and cultures, and ultimately they stem from their leaders, who are psychopaths. And as always, I bring it back to Cuba and this fucking cancerous piece of shit, Fidel Castro, who was an atheist, but he basically started his own religion with his fucking unique brand of fucking socialism. Fucking piece of shit. And the people who follow it, man, the people to this day, with all the fucking misery and oppression that they've lived through, and they still praise Fidel Castro. And then, of course, you get the fucking useful idiots here, like Oliver Stone, Sean Penn. If I'm not mistaken, Noam Chomsky. I thought Noam Chomsky, at the very least, had some fucking better judgment. That fucking piece of shit is actually honored and praised. He's actually praised Fidel Castro, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just amazing, man. It's but yet, I guess that's also part of, to the victor go the spoils. And there's another phrase that I've been hearing lately, that history belongs to those who show up. And that's the sad fact, that whoever takes the chance, whoever goes for it, it's yours. Let's see this one. Seriously, I think these college PowerPoints can be relevant for the discussion. Also, groupthink within the Islamic community. The chat has lag. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I think I might be cutting this chat short, because with all the technical difficulties that I'm having, it's don't want to keep this going. But and I don't want to waste anybody's time, man. I really don't. Let me see. Castro, Mao, and Stalin all established cults of personality around themselves. Yeah, no, that's how they do it. But it's a new phenomenon. Thousands of Muslims died for crown and empire during the world wars. Yeah, I mean, I think the real phenomenon is what's been always going on. You have, it seems to me, you have leaders, followers, and get out of the wayers. That was another video I wanted to do. And that's one of the things that I like about these live streams. You could just fucking stream of consciousness. But no, I think you could categorize people into many different categories. But one useful one that I find are leaders, followers, and get out of the wayers. And I think everybody at one point or another is a follower. God knows I have been. I think even leaders are followers at one point. But ultimately, leaders tend to rise to the top. And it's amazing how many people, because of our need to survive, will do whatever that leader suggests, if and as long as they're being provided with food, shelter, some money, and a basic standard of living. And that's why you get that. That's why you get these mindless followers. But then you got the people like myself. I like to consider myself now a get out of the wayer. Okay, I don't like to follow, and I don't like to fucking lead people either. And but like I said, I sure as shit don't like to follow. And we're a rare breed, and I think, especially, I never understood that with my family with Cuba, because I remember when I was a kid, I always used to think to myself, why don't you guys just go back there and kill this fucking piece of shit? Why did you guys leave? And for a little while, I thought of my dad as almost, cowardly. Like, why didn't you fucking stay and fight? But that's what happens when you're a decent human being. You don't go around slaughtering other people over ideas. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes to rise to the top. And that's who those leaders are. And even our own leaders, I'm pretty sure now Donald Trump is the kind of person that's probably not, I don't know. I don't want to, speak for the man or anything, but I wonder, does he lose any sleep over the people that now he's starting to be directly responsible for killing over in the Middle East? Obama as well. I wonder how Obama dealt with that, knowing that thousands of innocent people are being killed because of your orders, as necessary as they may be, you know? And I think that's what it takes to become a leader, a true leader. You almost have to be a little bit of a psychopath. You have to have no problem sleeping at night, knowing that people, that you may not be killing them yourself, but you're putting down orders that are costing people's lives. And that's why now I have a very deep respect for my family who left, because these are people who did not want to kill other people. They were braver than that. They actually started a new life in a country where they had to learn the language, start from scratch, because everything was fucking taken from them. And that's also, I guess, why I relate a little bit to the Muslim immigrants, and I don't want to insult. I don't want to judge, you know. But these attacks have to fucking stop. Yeah, no, people are herd animals. We are conditioned through evolution to follow a leader. It's not in our nature. That's true. Trump is useless to a certain extent. Trump is not Hillary. It's the best I can say, yeah. Heavy is the head. Who wears the crown? Yeah, I think that's the old adage. True. And let me see. I got a message. Probably somebody's like, dude, your fucking live stream sucks. Your tests are better than Antifa protests. That was good. That was the first one. I hope this guy's watching it now. Anyway, so yes, I've been rambling now for almost an hour. If anybody's got any other suggestions on what to do, by all means, let me know in the comments. And now let me turn it to something not as heavy, but still about death and depression. Chris Cornell's suicide. Oh my God, he's one of my favorite singers, man. It's loved that guy's music, and I kind of wanted to wait. I definitely want to be doing a video about his suicide, but I wanted to wait a little while because I thought to myself, man, did he really kill himself? I mean, he was a guy that had everything. Literally one of the greatest singers of his generation. I mean, you could say at least one of the greatest rock singers of his generation. In my opinion, the best singer of the entire Seattle grunge scene. And beautiful wife, kids. His career was still going on. I've seen him twice in concert. I saw them when they were opening up for Guns N' Roses back in 1992. Saw him in 2015. He was the kind of performer that was really worth spending money on. I would have gone to see Soundgarden again now. And man, wow. But then I read about the fact that he was on Ativan. And then that's when the suicide started making sense. And then, of course, I started remembering some of his lyrics. I mean, the guy was obsessed with death. I mean, even one of his most upbeat songs, which I wanted to play here, which was Drawing Flies, one of my favorite songs of his. The lyrics to this song, even here, he's already like sort of enamored with death, you know. Trying to find the right one that he had. Sitting here like uninvited company, I share a cigarette with negativity. There was one here where he's just like kissing death. I fire a loaded mental cannon to the page, leaning on the pedestal that holds my self-denial, firing the pistol that shoots my holy pride. Oh, wait a second, it was right around there. Anyway, look, the point that I wanted to make is, with his suicide, and you are what you think. That's the crazy thing. And he had so many songs where he's just kind of coming so close to death and talking about suicide and stuff. And then when you get a drug like Ativan that pretty much takes over your thought process and your behavior, because I think it begins with thoughts. Thoughts turn to feelings. feelings become behavior. And I know, because I've never came close to fucking about to slash my wrist or anything, but I've had suicide ideation, especially after my parents died. I went through a real deep depression and felt like life was not worth living. And the way I was at least thinking of having my suicide was going to be a heroin overdose with 2 hookers. At least might as well fucking enjoy it. But basically, that's how I knew. And then whenever I would think about the way I was going to kill myself, I was like, "Oh, fuck this shit." I would start laughing, at my own suicide. But I can only imagine, man, when those thoughts start taking over, and you lose all hope. And I think that's the thing that really drives it the most. It's the hopelessness, and it's amazing how there does come a moment in your thought process where you see nothing, you see no hope. And no wonder he had songs like "Black Hole Sun," "I Fell on Black Days." It's just like, couple that with a drug that takes over your mind. What a tragedy, man, is all I can say about Chris Cornell. And at least he left behind one hell of a catalog of music. 3 of the coolest sounding bands I've ever heard: Soundgarden, Temple of the Dog, Audio Slave, which I hope is not considered racist nowadays. I really want to fucking go there. Let me see what people are saying in the chat. I hope I've managed to entertain and inform, dare I say inspire people. I'm a lonely troll in the wilderness. That is this chat. Your reality is completely malleable. It is built upon your own perceptions. That's true. I never liked Soundgarden. I've been on all sorts of psychotropic medications. It's like a slow death. Oh, wow. Gonna be the old fart in the room. Saw him with Soundgarden back in '92. So did I, dude. I'm gonna be turning 45. So I guess we're old farts, dude. Wow. Obvious internet troll is obviously shitposting. Man, I would love to hear about those, if you ever want to, I don't know, DM me or send me any stories about what you've gone through with your medications, because I was almost prescribed. Now I just remembered. That's right. When I was 12 years old, I threatened to commit suicide myself. But I was just kind of doing it for attention back then. And that bought me months of fucking sitting with a psychologist and looking at Rorschach tests and stuff like that. And but yes, I remember they were trying to prescribe certain drugs and stuff like that. And then later on, other issues, they almost prescribed lithium. But then I was told by other people who were taking lithium, stay away from that shit. And it's a matter of controlling your thoughts if you can, And I think it comes down to the 4 feel-good chemicals that I've been reading about: dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, and serotonin. And I thought that there would be 4 feel-bad chemicals, but no. When you're depressed, apparently there is a lack of those 4 chemicals. They're not being produced enough. And now I'm starting to read about oxytocin, which is the love chemical. Reading about it more in the news and seeing it. And actually today let me see if they still have it on the Drudge Report, how they're injecting that into certain animals, injecting oxytocin, I think it was into seals, to keep them from being so aggressive. And the story's already gone. That's why it's always good to check in with the Drudge Report. Huffington Post, ugh! Can't stand the fucking Huffington Post. What a piece of shit. Amazing that people don't see through that crap either. The way they don't see through religion, namely Islam, but whatever. I digress. So, look, I wanted to make this. Sure, I've seen the petting zoo and there's no going back from it. How do I DM you? Look, I'm gonna actually just follow me on Twitter and send me a private message on Twitter. there, or send me a private message via YouTube under the About. Only ones I have ever had run-ins with were Prozac and Wellbutrin. Both of those were horrible. No lows, but no highs either. Like eating food without the seasoning. Yeah, I guess they probably keep you just even keel, which I kind of like. Look, I'm no psychologist. Fucking take all this bullshit I've been saying with a grain of salt. But it seems to me that there's 5 major feelings. Happiness, sadness, which is why you get I think those are the 2 major ones, which is why you get the masks, the happy, and the sad, for drama. So happiness, sadness, anger, which I'm all too familiar with, fear, which I'm quite familiar with as well, because I'm somewhat of a coward, and in my opinion, sexuality. I've heard other people say that it's disgust or shame, but in my opinion, disgust and shame are forms of fear. They really are. Because when you're ashamed, you're like afraid of what people think of you. And when you're disgusted by something, it's because it really triggers a certain fear in you. And I've learned to like try to figure out where I'm at. Like right now, I'm happy. I'm definitely happy. I'm a little bit scared too, I'll say. But look, I'm not angry at all. I'm not angry. I'm not sad in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not horny either. That's for sure. And so I think it's a matter of figuring out where you're at, and also how high energy or how low energy you are. Okay. And I actually kind of like it when every once in a while when I check in on myself and I'm not any one of the 5 and I'm even keel, and I'm like I'm not up, down. I'm good. And that's when I think you can make the most rational decisions. Because when you're too happy sometimes, that's not good either. And that's when people go on shopping sprees, and God knows that's happened to me. And also when you're too happy is when you get the delusions of, I wouldn't say delusions of grandeur, but you get grandiose thinking, and I think they're both different. Delusions of grandeur is when you think you're literally fucking Napoleon or Jesus Christ. Grandiose thinking is what I've experienced many times. Like when I started this fucking YouTube channel, I thought for sure I was going to have 1 million subscribers by my 3rd video and shit like that. And I'd be able to quit my job and fucking... Not even close. Good evening, Britisher. And I hear they're more like just blah. By the way, I love your little icon of from Clockwork Orange with the fucking eyes. Dude, that's fucking great. Evening. Good evening, Britisher. Britisher's in here. Dude, Britisher, I would love to invite you in, man. This is my first live stream, so I don't even know how to send people fucking invites and stuff. Sorry, man. But I did see your video on Manchester. I thought you were making great fucking points. If you want to throw them in there, let me know, man. And especially what you were talking about with Tony Blair and the faith schools. Look, that was another thing. I don't know, like, because one of the things that I wanted to do with this video, just informing the people who are now jumping in. Hello, Nachi. Hello, Befrieder. For anybody who's jumping in, I wanted this video to be about what do we do for solutions. Let's think proactively. Let's put away the rage or the outrage, and especially the thoughts and prayers. I mean, they're fucking useless. They're after the fact, they're fucking useless anyway. And one of the things of the solutions that we're thinking about is get to know the mosques in your neighborhood. But also, I guess are there any madrasas in your neighborhood? And like I was mentioning before, in my neighborhood where I've been living for almost 40 years, never seen anyone wearing a hijab or speaking Arabic. Or Arabic, whatever. Now I have. And it's fine. I don't want to judge. Like I mentioned before, I'm an immigrant. My parents were immigrants. More than half my family are immigrants. But it's a little scary. It's a little scary because with that particular immigration comes a very toxic ideology. I'm sorry, we got to be honest about that. Though I can only imagine most people thought that Cubans back in the 70s and 80s that we're all a bunch of drug dealers and fucking covert communists, which we weren't. We weren't coming here with any fucking agenda other than goddamn making a living. That was it. We weren't trying to spread any shit. Even though now Miami is basically fucking Havana number 2. It's like new Havana. Just like New York was really, you know, it was based on the Duke of York from England, and you had New York, and you had New England. Well, I guess Miami's really New Havana, because you almost have to speak Spanish to live in Miami. That's the sad part about it. But we've created jobs. I mean, we've tried to be. We really have tried to get out of people's way. We really have, man. And we have not tried to, you know, we've done our best to not step on people's toes, you know, and yeah. So let me check in on the comments here. By the way, thank you all for joining and sticking around, the 14 of you. I've been at it now for an hour, and in a little bit I'm going to be signing off because, you know, I'm all over the place. I would like to send to you, Nachi, a packet of college PowerPoints I've been referencing. Okay, look. Yes, please send them to me via Twitter or on my YouTube channel via Messenger under the about. Let me see. The Berkshire, if you send me the Hangout web address via email, I could try getting in there with it. Yes, assimilation is a big thing in this subject. Yes. Okay, the thing is, I don't know where the Hangout web address is. That's the problem. I don't know how to access it. I thought I had it, but it's apparently not this. Here, let me try to do this. I'm going to send you this, Britisher. And now I think I'm off. Am I off? Let me see. Let me see if I'm fucking off. Good Lord. Let me see if I'm still alive. Jesus Christ. This has been a fucking lesson in live streaming and how not to do one. You come over here under my live stream. Jesus fucking Christ. Good, it's still going on, right? No, I'm on? Okay, laugh out loud, no problems. Okay, look, here we go. I'm going to send you what I just copied and pasted. And if that gets you in here, that beats. And if not, this is something to look back on and laugh at. Still live, it's good. You got to start somewhere. Thanks for the vote of confidence. You're still live, bro. Great. Because the thing was that by mistake I hit the little X on the fucking on this thing, and so let me see if I get Britisher in on here. Maybe he can help save save this live stream. Let me know if this works. Okay, Britisher, if you check the Gmail, it should be there. Okay. So, still live. Anyway. Where am I at now? Okay, so we've gone over the possible solutions to hope. I feel like I'm just full of shit at this point. But recapping this train wreck of a live stream that I hope people are still being entertained with. To recap on the solutions to avoid another Manchester attack. We need to be a hell of a lot more vigilant and not just looking out for fucking little packages on the fucking street. Okay, and yeah, it's sad that we would have to report your fucking neighbors if, you know, I don't know. I guess if you ever hear anybody in your neighborhood fucking yelling out Allahu Akbar, that's probably a good sign. That's might not be 911, but maybe 411. You know, if depending on where you live, you just fucking call information like, hey, listen, there's a neighbor of mine, and Anyway, let me see if, dude, I don't even know what the fucking Google Hangouts are, but I'm gonna try to look for them because I know that the links should be this really long fucking thing. Google Hangouts. Let me see if I log in through here. Invites. Okay, let's see. Oh my God, please tell me that this is it. Friends can now reach you directly on Hangouts. Okay, got it. No invites. Okay, you know what I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna cut this live stream short because I don't want to waste people's time. I'm gonna try to do these every Wednesday at 9 p.m. and I promise I'm gonna have my shit together the next time around for sure. Okay, it's gonna be full screen. I'm gonna have people on, and I'm gonna make it worth people's while. Thank you all so much for having entertained me just the same. You've entertained me as well, and you've informed me just the same. Thank you all, and till next week at 9 p.m. on Wednesday. Tachi free. Thanks for watching. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna shut down my computer. Fuck it. That's the only way I know how to get out of this shit. Let me see. Shut it down. Should I just fucking unplug the computer? Okay, here we go. I'm signing off. Thank you all. Good night.